Hello, my friends. So I welcome you in the love and in the light of the one infinite creator. And in today's session, I have channeled Metatron Magnetic Consciousness in order to query about certain aspects of which I am going to share with you right now. And I would like to state that, in this session, Metatron has said that the information is very risky for me to share it, and has also warned me that I should remember that if I talk about this, there is a high chance that negative entities will try to attack me or something like that, which I did not understand. But what the thing is, I wanted to share this, and also Archangel Metatron has said that I need to stay protected using love and light vibration, which I will do, of course. And the queries which I have asked in the session include how to detach from soul contracts. For example, in your life, many people, they may be facing the same type of situation over and over again. They may be meeting with the same type of people, who make them feel some way, or who are here to make people learn certain lessons. Sometimes they face the same situation over and over again, and it feels like you're stuck in a loop, right? Like you were facing the same kind of situation back in the day, and now also you're facing the same kind of situation. So in that case, how can you break such soul contracts? Because there are many soul contracts, as we know, which are created prior to our incarnation on our planet. So what is need to be done in order to break free from such soul contracts which we do not want to participate in, because they don't serve us, and they are repeated soul contracts. So what is the best way, right? Which is explained beautifully in this session. The other thing that Archangel Metatron has said is about the event number 2 from the Looking Glass artifact. Now bear in mind that this information is coming from Metatron Magnetic Consciousness, and his information, his or her information, because Metatron is a social memory complex, that information is maybe different from the other Guardians of the Looking Glass information. Okay, it may be a bit different because it is said that it depends on the type of emotional state the person is at. When you're looking at the Looking Glass artifact, the timeline will show up based upon your emotions and based upon your state of beingness, I believe. Okay, so this is explained in that session as well, in this session as well. And the other thing I asked about was, I really wanted to know the past lives of Dr. Joe Dispenza. For those who do not know who Dr. Joe Dispenza is, he is one of those teachers who is teaching people how to heal, how to create reality, and really interesting personality. I just found Dr. Joe Dispenza really fascinating. So I asked about his past incarnations, which is even more mind-blowing. So in this session, you'll find those topics covered, and towards the end of the video, I would like to open up a beautiful gift which was sent recently to me. And with that being said, I would like to say a big thank you to all of you for liking the video. It helps to reach out to people who need it at this time. And here is the session, my friends. Enjoy it.
I am Metatron Magnetic Consciousness, now speaking through this vibration of this channel, and I am communicating now from the angelic realm, wherein I exist as a social memory complex, as known by your people, and for the guidance of the human collective consciousness. I have communicated and accepted this communication today through this channel's vibration. Before I begin sharing any of the information which is inside the mind of my consciousness, as transmitted from this channel's vibration of the mind, body, and the spirit complex, I must state that each of you are the universal divine grid consciousness, love light childs who are experiencing the universal divine grid programmers experiences in this illusory reality in order to try and to find out a better way for ascension to begin. Each one of you may be considered as a sapling of light of the divine grid, which will allow you greater flexibility to choose the types of thought forms you have the ability to entertain inside your mind complex, and leave behind those thought forms which do not allow you stability and comfort within your own inner heart. Therefore, I, as Metatron Magnetic Consciousness, would like to state each one of you should be its own teacher and should be its own guide, and the inner heart should be kept in the helm of your truth, and only thought forms which resonate with your inner heart must be accepted. Today, upon scanning the vibrations of the queries which are in order in the mind of this channel, the query which pertains to the so-called soul contracts which do not serve you at this current incarnation and how to end them, I would like to suggest that each one of you have already created soul contracts prior to incarnating on the Earth planet. Each one of you has a definite system of soul contracts. You have created waypoints within the consciousness stream of your own experience in this incarnation. These soul contracts were primarily created by your own self in accordance with your higher self to allow you a greater understanding of certain lessons. Primarily the lesson of love, which is the lesson to be learned in this timeline. Furthermore, many of you find yourself in undesirable situations over and over again. These situations find you in synchronous moments, again and again, teaching you the same lesson you have come to learn. However, at one point, the mind of the beingness of the universal mind-body-spirit complex totality can become aware of such happenings and decide to change the soul contract if it does not want to experience it again. However, we would like to warn those of you who are desiring to change your soul contracts that if you do so, you will have to enter a parallel reality or reincarnate again in another timeline in order to complete that soul contract lessons. However, the best way for such soul contracts to be deleted is by understanding the lessons to be learned. The lessons to be learned, if you are able to fully assimilate the lesson within your experience, and then after learning the lessons, you can, using your imagination sequence, enter into a timeline wherein the lesson is already learned. For example, an entity on the Earth planet who has to learn the lesson of forgiveness may find itself in various situations again and again wherein other entities would hurt it or break many of the agreements, thereby forcing it to forgive them or to reject them in hatred and other emotions. Therefore, such an entity, if it desires to break away from the loop of such soul contracts, must firstly, using its imagination, the greatest gift from the divine grid programmer, to enter the timeline wherein all such lessons have been learned. This can be learned by following the trend or the pathway of the light into the timeline desired, and by using the imagination consciousness to link the mind, body, and spirit complex using the silver cord with the timeline desired. This will allow the mind, body, and spirit complex totality to experience the unity consciousness of the universal divine grid from that timeline wherein such a soul contract lesson has already been learned and executed properly. And if the vibration of this lesson is learned by the entity to be maintained within its body. This will allow such soul contracts to be deleted from the future experiences, as the lessons have already been learned. However, another parallel reality will begin wherein the entity will have to learn the same type of lesson, wherein this entity will not have the opportunity of using the shortcut method of deleting or learning the lessons. As we suggested before, this is a way of escaping your own lessons. We would suggest each entity to face the lessons you have planted for yourself in this timeline and learn the lessons of love and light. Ask yourself every moment, whenever you face a challenge, what lesson do I have to learn? And as fast as you can learn it, the soul contracts will end as fast as possible. The other query, which pertains to the event number 2, as spotted by in the Looking Glass project, I as Metatron would like to state that the information which has been imparted by the other groups of people who are disguised under the name of the Looking Glass project have accessed a timeline of using their emotional state. Based upon the various emotional states of entities, the Looking Glass artifact is able to derive a timeline, as all is vibration and emotion entanglement. Therefore, I as Metatron would like to take the liberty to state that this information would be harmful for this instrument if it is to share it with the people, since the negative entities they do not want infringement of their plans. However, if this instrument decides to do so, it can do so by protecting it amply using love light, surrounding its bodily complex at all times. Hence, the information is as follows. As far as we, the angelic beings, can see from the artifact, there is going to be an event in somewhere around the month of May, at the time of around 21st May, wherein there will be an activation of the pyramid system hidden beneath the Antarctica landmass of your Earth planetary sphere. Many of your elites or the groups of people who are working for spreading fear, working for self-service agenda, will find themselves traveling to Antarctica. And many of these beings, they will try to reactivate the pyramid system hidden beneath the landmass in Antarctica. This pyramid system is known by the name of Z2X, and there are other pyramid systems located in the North Pole and the center of the Earth. Furthermore, these three pyramid systems create an interlinking of the quarantine of the Earth grid, as the quarantine of the Earth grid was created after the beings from the Mars planet were transported to the Earth timeline for the purpose of providing them protection from infringement from extra sources. The three pyramids which had been used for the creation of the quarantine had been left by the council, who were responsible for transferring the souls from the landmass of Mars to your current timeline. Using the divine grid programmers, love and light, they were able to access the energy vibrations from the three pyramid system, and they had created a grid. Later on, they had turned off the pyramids as the creation of a quarantine was completed. Now the negative entities, they desire to reactivate the three pyramid system and turn off the quarantine grid. The only way is via finding the Atlantean pyramidical structure, which lies hidden beneath the Pacific Ocean. These entities will also try to find the Atlantean pyramid system key in order to unlock the unity consciousness divine grid love light from the three pyramids, trying to create a bridge portal which will allow the disintegration of the quarantine of the Earth planet to occur. Furthermore, I as Metatron am now going to answer the third query, which pertains to how and why The so-called grid is being activated in the Atlantean and also in the Antarctica landmass. And how can this be stopped? The best way for the people of your planet to stop this would be to share this information to the people of your planet so they become aware of the happenings which may happen in your timeline as per the information from the looking glass. Therefore, the more people become aware, the more consciousness spreads out, and this information and the plan of the negative entities will be curtailed. I, as Metatron, would also like to state that the third query pertaining to the past lives of an entity known as Dr. Joe Dispenza in your vibration sequence terms. Using the divine grid consciousness of love light, we shall now state that this entity known as Dr. Joe Dispenza, as known in your language terms, started in the vibration in this current timeline of 1962. This entity's past incarnations are of numerous numbers since there are numerous timelines. However, in brief, this entity started its first density in the planet known as Andromeda B around 7.8 million years ago, learning the lessons of first density by cycling from elemental to elemental, learning the lessons of beingness after a period of 200,000 years entered into the second density timeline, wherein it was able to learn the lessons of beingness and awareness as a tree life form, and then later changed its consciousness into the vibration of hierarchical system of later suboctave of second density in the form of a animal life form, in order to try and learn the lessons of hierarchical system of organization. This followed and provided it with the later understanding of the timeline distortion of third density reality, wherein this entity was then able to learn the lessons of third density of choice and self-awareness. Furthermore, after trying to learn the lessons of choice and self-awareness, the reactivation of the entity's grid of consciousness allowed it to then choose the timeline of service to others. In the timeline of third density, this entity faced many challenges, specifically the challenge of incarnating in a physical bodily complex which was not of a desirable nature. This led this entity to then learn many of the lessons of healing itself, and it was met by many of its soul guides and fifth density beings who guided it to heal itself. Since the nature of healing was ingrained within its inner beingness in the third density in the planet of its origin, it was known by the name of Sihistra in the Andromeda language terms, which means the healer. This entity then embarked on many missions throughout the galaxy, heading up to Mars in the timeline of around 800,000 years, trying to prevent the Martian war as well as trying to teach people of the Mars planet the ability to heal themselves. However, it was unsuccessful in that timeline, and then later on it was transported to the lands known as Atlantis. In the lands of Atlantis, it began to teach many entities the process of using pathway of inner healing through the process of meditation and using the pyramid system. This allowed this entity to enter into the period of later third density vibration and to also become capable of graduating. However, this entity was not able to graduate in the Atlantean system because of the destruction of Atlantis during the end days. It was then transported to the Earth planet. In the first incarnation in the Earth planet, this entity has incarnated on this timeline of 1962. And in this timeline, it was allowed to learn the lessons of healing and preparing itself because of the catalyst which was prevented and which was provided to this entity by its own self. The catalyst of harm to its physical body complex, which led this entity to enter into a spiral of using its abilities to heal itself. This entity, known as Joe, is a healer from other dimensions as well, and has incarnated in this timeline for the purpose of healing to the people of the planet. As the unity divine grid consciousness flows within its stream of energy vortex of the heart center, it is able to tap into the energies of fourth density, heart center, healing abilities, and the interlinking of various other techniques allowed this entity to serve others, to heal the sick, and to allow others to learn about creation of energy and reality. Therefore, I, as Metatron, leave you now in the love and light of the universal divine grid consciousness. Turn to the mountain of light within your own self. Bye.
So my friends, I hope you watched this session and you learned something from the session. I learned something from the session which was really fascinating and amazing. The thing that Metatron Magnetic Consciousness said is, the best way to detach from soul contracts that you don't want to no longer participate in is firstly to learn the lessons, okay? Now, for example, you will find this out, as you are interacting in the reality. In the type of situations you find yourself in. As you begin to interact over and over again, you will find out what you have to learn. For example, if you have to learn forgiveness, then the best thing is to just learn forgiveness, to forgive the person or forgive the situation, or do something about it. Just like learn it, okay? Once you learn the lesson, there is less likelihood that such situations will occur again. So you have to ask yourself the question, what is the lesson I have to learn from this interaction or from this situation? So once you learn it, there is no need for it to appear again in your lifetime, in your timeline, okay? So that is one of the things. And other thing, I remember is the event number 2 from the Looking Glass artifact, which said that in the month of May, there is going to be negative entities who are going to try to reactivate the pyramids in Antarctica. Now, I don't really know how they will do that, okay? But the process, I think, is explained. Metatron said that there are pyramids in Antarctica, in the North Pole, and in the center of the Earth. And I think, these pyramids were created during the time of when the souls from Mars were transported to the Earth planet and the quarantine was created, right? I believe this was created in order to prevent infringement from extraterrestrial sources. And from that, what we need to understand is, the pyramids, they were activated to create the quarantine. And now I don't know, what will happen, whether the quarantine will be, will be lifted, or they're trying to do something with the pyramids. So we need to be aware of this, and more people, as we become aware of this, their plans will be stopped, okay? So this is what Metatron said. So it's just about awareness. So now many are aware, and I think their plans will be stopped. And the other thing that has been explained in the session is about the past lives of Dr. Joe Dispenza. And his past life is really fascinating. It turns out that he was a healer for most of its past incarnations, has helped a lot of entities to heal. And I think he's doing the same thing in this timeline. So I'm going to open up the package which was sent to me. And so this was sent to me by Brenda Phillips Acosta from Houston, Texas. And yeah, it's really thankful for the gift. So let's see, what's inside. Actually, I had opened it before. Just wanted to see it, beforehand. So the gifts, include the lights like this, lights, and really grateful. And the other thing we have is healing crystals over here, healing crystals, which looks like this. I'll show you. Healing crystals look like this, like a pyramid kind of thing. Really nice. Thank you so much. And then we have the we have this thing, which is the eye cover for channeling sessions. Really thankful for this beautiful gift. And then the other things we have over here is yeah, this is, I think, some kind of perfume, I think. And then the other thing we have is another healing crystal. Okay, so yeah, these are the gifts, and one of the things is I really like this light thing, because if you just open it up, it lights up. And it's really fascinating, like I can keep it, when I'm recording my video, and so I'll have light, and it's really amazing. So thank you so much everyone for watching the video. And before I end the session, I want to say, I have recently teamed up with a friend known as Lambert, and he has also helped me create a transcription PDF of all the sessions that I have done in the first quarter of 2022, which you can download and read for free as PDF. A link is on the description. And the other thing is, I'm so thankful to all of you for supporting me on Patreon, where I'm uploading sessions, transcripts, and all those beautiful things. And the other thing is, I just want to say a big thank you for all of you for sending me past live request sessions. And whenever I get free time, I'm channeling for you. So thank you all so much. Have a great day. Until next time, my friends.